Hello and welcome to my podcast. It's called Trust Me, I've Tried. Trust me, I've tried. Trust me, I've tried. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trust Me, I've Tried. I like saying that, so
I love it. I love the name of your podcast. I love that you've finally started it.
Thank you.
It took you a year, but better late than never.
Yeah, true. Anywho, today, guys, I have with me brand genius of life, strategist, celeb.
So I'm actually not doing this with her. No.
The genius herself.
I'm her friend. That's all you need to know about me. My name is Blessing Abeng.
Blessing.
Johnny's friend. That's literally simple introduction.
Don't mind her. She's not humble.
Simple introduction.
Oh well, I'm here, guys, with Blessing Abeng. Thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh well, so today's episode is on side hustles. So it's called Trust Me, I've Tried Having a Side Hustle.
That's an amazing topic.
Thank you, Blessing. Over to you. Please, why that people want to have side hustle? What is it that having one stream of income isn't like enough, or why?
Well, for me, and you can quote me that Blessing said, if Dangote, Bill Gates, and can all have side hustles in their own way, I mean, who am I to not have a side hustle?
Like, they have Microsoft, Bill Gates.
Yes.
He has
like 1 million things he does.
Doing malaria stuff.
And he still invest in what's it called? He still invest in stocks. He'll still invest in new companies. He will still sit on the board and he doesn't need to do these things. But I guess maybe if I should list out reasons, it would probably be to make more money, to protect your wealth, to maybe impact more lives, to afford nice things.
So is it a do or die affair to have a side hustle?
No, no, at all. I just think not everybody has to be ambitious. Not everybody has to have problems. If your life is comfortable, you don't even need to do one hustle.
Love it.
To relax and be taken care of.
Love it. Woo. Yeah, but okay. So I think people are always putting having a side hustle and being an entrepreneur in the same boat. Are they the same thing?
Of course not. A side hustle can be an entrepreneurship venture. And an entrepreneurship venture can be a side hustle.
Yeah.
But they're not a side hustle is not directly equal to entrepreneurship. It's not directly, entrepreneurship is also not directly equal to having a side hustle. What do I mean? So you can, wake up in the morning and say, oh, you need 3 jobs. You want to work 3 jobs. You have a primary job that you do 9 to
3
5.
3 jobs.
I'm not doing one. It's just that in Lagos, it's traffic, but 9 to 5 you do one, and then maybe from 7 o'clock to 9 you do another one. Maybe after 10 you do another one. So
you should not sleep because
10 o'clock you can now do Uber. 10 to 12 you do Uber riding and everything or both, and when you're done, that's side hustle.
Very true.
It doesn't mean you're an entrepreneur.
True. I feel like people think that if they have a business idea, side hustle or being an entrepreneur is something that everybody can do. But sometimes if you have a business idea, you might not actually be able to execute it yourself.
So I think people don't even understand how intense entrepreneurship can be, because entrepreneurship is a responsibility. It's literally you're the pilot of the plane. You're responsible for people's lives. You're not just going to, have your business idea and execute it anymore.
Yeah.
You have to ensure people's salaries get paid. You have to ensure that, you are in right standing with policies. You are paying your taxes. So it now becomes a whole thing that is way bigger than just the small idea that
you have.
All I wanted to do was fry puff and put chocolates inside. I did not plan to be doing all this other rigmarole, NAFDAC number. That's not my story. I'm just saying, for example, right? So it can just be, and one other thing I noticed in Nigeria is that people like to own things. It's I am the owner and founder of blah blah blah.
I'm the CEO.
CEO, not that it's bad to be a CEO, please.
It's not bad though.
You can be a CEO founder. You You don't have to be you don't have to be the founder to be a CEO. Number
True.
one.
Very true.
You don't now have to be the CEO because you're the founder. I mean, there are times they bounced Bill Steve Jobs from Apple
Yeah.
as CEO, and they bounced the founder. In fact, one time completely, he didn't have any position in the company. And okay, so I was going to give you one gist. So there's a girl that came and tweeted that somebody was repackaging her product that she was selling.
I'm going to even have to talk about that
upset.
because, like, people are rude.
And she was upset, right? So there's two ways to look at it. Not saying that, it was nice that they were repackaging her product. But
Yeah.
here's what I think. You said maybe your Gary is 500 naira per cup, right?
Mhm.
Because the people you know and the audience you're serving, you think 500 naira is what they can afford. However, maybe if I put your 500 naira Gary now, is that one gold bull?
Package.
I just put that 500.
You know, say 1.5.
In one gold book.
1.5 is small.
bigger.
5,000.
Or even like 10K. You'll be like, 10K golden Gary. Or maybe don't mix it.
Love the name.
Just say
Business idea.
golden Gary, right? Your friends will be getting their Gary inside golden bubbles. And they'll be posting it on Instagram. This babe that was selling the Gary 500 naira could never either have access to those people, or those people would never buy from her.
And it was her business idea.
Yeah, but it's not like what matters is the plan that she had for herself was,
Yeah.
I want to sell my Gary for 500
Yeah.
naira to a certain market.
Yeah.
But now I have access to a larger market. So what that just means is I'm going to buy more of your 500 naira Gary.
Meaning that anybody and everybody can have a business idea. But what makes that business successful is it doesn't necessarily have to be you to have the idea and then execute. But get people who can actually now execute it for
That's
you.
one. Number
and
two
stuff
is
like
you
that.
don't have to own
Everything.
Like that's even the most important one for me.
Yeah.
It's like, great, you have Gary and it's 500 and we love it. Yeah. But even if you carry your Gary now that's 500 and say you want to now start selling 10K, you won't make sales.
Very true.
However, there's this other lady who has access to, who buys 500 naira Garis from you, right? So if there is somebody who is consistently giving you revenue for your 100 every week,
Yeah.
how about you strategize a partnership? How about you ensure that you never lose that person?
Partnership. I feel like so someone like me, I always say that I don't think I have it in me to be an entrepreneur. But something I know is I could do a partnership. I could say, I have this idea.
Come on,
Let's do it together. Do you understand?
It's not that
And-
clear cut though, because
there's not a problem. How do you even deal with like partners and people that are not trustworthy, people that will steal your idea, like what we're talking about now? Like, I'm sure people complain about that.
So I've heard this complaint a lot. I realized that if you share your idea over and over again, you actually can make it better.
Yeah.
Because if you launch the idea and share it the way it is, you can make it better. However, it's not a lie that people steal ideas. But what I've also noticed is they cannot execute it how you planned to execute.
True.
They've cut you off from the process. So they can't kill it how you plan to kill it. So we can all own phones, we can all create. I mean, there's Xiaomi, there is Apple, there is Samsung, we're all phones. But the people who love the Apple phones love the Apple phones. On a phone. So don't feel like, the same idea. Chances are somebody else has even thought of that idea before. Somebody else is executing that idea in China.
Yeah.
So don't just be like stingy with your idea. If somebody steals your idea, it's painful. If you can sue them, sue them. If you have contracts and document trail to prove that this idea was yours and it was stolen, go right ahead. But if you don't, just do it again. And do it the way you wanted to do it. Get even stronger powerhouses to collaborate with you. There's enough space in the air for everybody to fly.
Okay, so now back to side hustles. I know that one of the reasons why people maybe look for like something else to do aside their 9 to 5 might be because they don't exactly like their 9 to 5, but they're just doing it because it's paying the bills and everything. So some people want to look for side hustles that like interest them and stuff like that. So like, is that a good thing? Like, what do you think about that?
So, well,
do you necessarily need to have a side hustle that
to give you joy?
gives you joy? interests you or something. So I know that sometimes like people want a side hustle because maybe they might not like their 9 to 5. No, some people are probably in, I don't want to pick a specific job, but like they're in a job and they're like, I'm just here because I need the money, it's paying the bills, right? But it's not what I really, really want to do. So what do you think about like people taking their interests as side hustles? Is it a good thing? Is it even that, you know, will you even excel in it as an interest? Because there are sometimes you might think, oh, I love doing this thing, and then you now go and pick up the skill and realize that you actually are not good at it.
Yeah.
Right?
So truth is, I've come to realize, though, I don't know, it doesn't really apply to everybody, but no matter what the passion is, you know that thing that people tell you, once you do your passion, every work becomes play or something. Cute like that.
I'm doing my passion.
The truth is, once your passion becomes work, my day becomes work.
It becomes work.
And it just becomes stressful and it becomes tiring. And you know, whether it's paying the bill or not, you'll still be tired.
And sometimes you might actually ask yourself, I'm sure guys, there are times I'll be like, especially if you're doing something you love, and you're like, do I really love it?
Exactly. Honestly, no joke. Plus, your clients are not going to be always dancing and basking with your creative genius. You're going to come and, you know, maybe you're a poetry, spoken word person, and you give all these boom, boom, boom spoken words, and your client's like, you didn't say
the name of my brand.
Let's call it Candy. You didn't say Candy 10 times in this. We need it 10 times.
We need it 10 times.
You begin to get frustrated because at the end of the day, it's the money that's kind of controlling you. Not everybody has the luxury of, you know, controlling. And then no matter who you are, once you collected commission, very rarely ever do you get the 100% creative license. So if you're doing your passion as a side hustle just cause you want to be able to enjoy something else, like an escape, great. You know, just be aware so you don't now take on too much to a point where
you hate
start
it.
hating it.
Yes, I think that's actually very valid. Now, talking about clients. Oh, as a freelancer, or is this side hustler? No, I don't understand.
Wow,
but
I don't know what this brand is that Buki is attaching to my body.
But yeah,
I'm a baby girl.
As people that like
Buki's baby girl.
yeah, so as a like freelancer or something, how do you deal with clients? Or as somebody that you own your business, you work.
Okay.
How do you?
So I think I should start by
how do you deal with crazy clients?
I have a whole post on this on my page actually, and apparently I found out it's not unique to Nigeria. You know, it happens everywhere, all over the world. And number one, there's this conversation I used to hear people say that it's like how they used to say it. It's like if you don't work for yourself, somebody else will. I mean, if you don't use your time to work for yourself, somebody's going to use your time to work for them. And I'm like, whether you're the employer or the employee, you know, you're gonna work. And if as the employer, you know, it's even worse because everybody is now your client. Your staff are literally your clients because you have to ensure that their well-being is on point.
On point, yes.
Your plenty clients are all your bosses. Sorry, your staff are your bosses. Your plenty clients are your bosses.
True that.
It's like you self, you're your boss, but you're also a servant. So here we are, right? And you now have to deal with employee in the employee circle, right? That with your career, it's easier to like know that it's only your two organs at the top that you're facing, and those ones can do the remaining dirty job for you. But with you being a side hustler, you're going to have a lot of annoying clients, blah blah blah. So how have I dealt with these people? Number one, I recognize them. I do. I see the signs like dating and relationship.
I think it's good. Like recognize them.
I recognize them. And once I recognize you, depending on how broke
you are,
I am. I can't even lie to you guys. Like it just depends. If I'm really, really broke and I really, really need the money,
you close your eyes, take it.
Sometimes I might even double the price just to ensure that, you know, once I have said yes, because this is my own philosophy, once I've said yes, I have committed and I must hit the goal. I cannot be like, oh, the client is annoying or that is the reason why I couldn't do it. I've said yes. If they will insult me, they will have to insult me, finish till I'm done with that.
The work.
But if I know that I can't take it, I won't do it at all. If I know it's going to harm my mental health, I won't even stress myself.
Yes, I was going to say that. Like
takes it all.
If you have clients that, you know, stress you, You know, and I see it a lot. As working in advertising, I see it a lot because how will you tell me to make the blacker? What I don't like understand.
It's my brand. I want the black to be blacker.
You know that sometimes when I hear things like I feel like asking you, man, do you have another color spectrum I do not know about or something?
But sometimes how do I explain this now? Okay, so I get angry.
Yes.
My brain's catch fire. It's like when you come back and give me unnecessary feedback, like me and you, we know this feedback does not make sense. I used to be angry, but later I kind of learned that, you know, it's in the middle of this kind of feedback. Like your clients may not be able to articulate what they want, but they know what their problem is.
Yeah.
So, and that's why they're paying you.
Yeah.
So if they're now saying they want it blacker, sometimes we don't ask the second question, which is, oh, why exactly do you think it's better blacker? Because sometimes they don't really know that blacker might not communicate what they. Let me even tell you one gist. And somebody I was working with at the time, and she wanted me to do like a logo thingy, not logo per se, but like just identify her brand and help her do it. So I was overseeing the design guy who was doing the logo, and they were brilliant logos. Like these logos were beautiful, like they could compete on a global standard. But she just kept going, no, don't like it. Okay, what don't you like? Say, I don't know what I don't like. I just don't like it. I was frustrated.
I can't stand. I don't know what I don't like.
My dear,
I can't stand it.
I was like, this is too much. You know, like this.
Sometimes you just feel like, take your money, man. I'm not doing it again.
No, I'm actually that kind of person. You know, like I just be like, you know,
it's not worth my stress.
Thank you very much. I know you love me,
but sometimes I feel like it's necessary.
Well, no. So here's what I've learned, right? So if you've committed and you said you're going to do it, except that person is like horrible. If that person is horrible, just feel free to collect your percentage, which is why contracts are important, and like having agreements ahead of time.
Guys,
and everything is very important. Just, you know, you can always say, I've done 60% of the work. This is the value based on the money you paid. This 40% will have to transition it to someone else. I would be more than happy to help those people transition. Don't be wicked.
Who will help you find the people?
Yeah, well, no,
maybe not.
But like, just don't be weak. Don't be mean. Don't be like, oh, everything must start today. We tell ourselves.
Two wrongs can actually make it right. And that's
not even my own reason.
Networking.
That's not even my reason. My reason is just that I don't know if I'll meet you tomorrow. And I don't know what room you'll be, and I might not be there to defend myself.
True.
So might as well just, you know, ensure that I ended
on a good note.
No, even if it's not good, child, let's just not be bad.
I just personally, I also feel in terms of like work stress and balancing like your work, I think that if it gets to you, if it's getting to you, take a break. And if taking a break means cutting off the business, just be ready to know what you're risking. Do you understand? And be willing to risk it. I think that's just it.
So as I said earlier, number one, I say no.
Yeah.
If I know that I see the signs, like I just break up ahead of time, so it doesn't have to get there.
You will see the red flags.
Exactly. So I just be like, it might not be you. It might just be that I cannot. But
it's also a relationship.
So maybe somebody else might be great with you. So maybe I might recommend those people. So and so I would say something like, I'm overwhelmed right now, and I would have loved to concentrate heavily on your project. So yeah,
all those emails that are like politely.
Yeah. So, but sometimes I'm truly overwhelmed. There's not everyone that I'm bouncing you. Then number two is have structure. So if you already had this structure, like maybe you've already said, oh, this is going to take 7 days. This is what's expected on this day. That is what's expected on that day. It's clear. So whenever any fight wants to come out, you just go back to the structure and say, CEO, we already talked about it.
And also have a structure as somebody who has a 9 to 5 and a side hustle.
Exactly.
You have to know how to balance it. You have to be strong enough to balance
Which is where automation even comes in. So the things you think you can automate. So for example, if you already have a mailing list where if a client comes to you and says, like maybe you're using MailChimp now, and a client says, oh, we're signing up for your product, blah, blah, blah. You just sign them up on that list and they get all the onboarding mail. They get the first mail today. They get the next 3 days. They get the next mail. You're not even doing anything.
Yeah. So how do you deal with clients that owe?
So I can't remember the last time anybody owed me money.
And do you think it's actually nice to, call people out
My reason is because I collect my 100%
before you
upfront.
start?
Like, it's like you don't, if you don't want, no problem. But it's also because, like, I've also set the foundation and everything. So I don't advise that everybody should collect 100%. But me, I always collect 100% upfront. However, I also did something before I started collecting 100% upfront. I used to do this thing where I would tell you ahead of time. You know, when you're discussing the business, everybody
Yeah.
has happy moments and moods and
True.
everything. So I used to tell them all that. So because of how I run my freelance or business or project or whatever the case may be, you are only allowed to owe me for 1 week extra than the dates that we've agreed. After that 1 week, it starts counting 10% on the amount. So feel free to owe me, but 10% per month
It's
is
adding-
accruing and
it's
it's adding.
accumulating.
And somebody eventually actually paid me those late fees because babe,
Please,
it's my
link
time.
me up.
It's actually my time. It's actually that money I could have invested it and it could have been giving me
your time,
returns.
yes.
I can't be chasing you all the time, right? And I also sometimes, so I try not to do my side hustles like alone. Maybe I have like a staff or somebody who is doing it with me, like an intern or something.
Yeah.
So I sometimes just make sure that the intern is chasing the person. Well, I use Wave apps. I don't know if they still operate in Nigeria.
Okay.
Wave apps will remind the hell
Out of the
out of the person. When there's this woman that called me once and like, I'm blessing, I'll pay you now. Like you're just reminding me. I said it's not me.
Wave apps. Look
It's
for
the
it,
app.
guys. Look for it.
WAVEAPPS. I was like, it's the app. It's just how it is, and I can't stop it. So till you
I think it's actually necessary. So, like, because you see a lot of people calling people out, calling companies, calling brands out, and all. And it's actually painful, especially if, as a creative person, because I think that most people don't, should I use the word respect, like, our jobs as creatives, and they just feel like, oh, maybe it's just,
true. There's that.
and then they because they are treating you like it's just logo, it's just writing, it's just poetry, they won't respect you and not say that know that this is actually a business. This is actually, whether it's a side or solo or whether it's my full job, you should actually treat me like I'm working in a bank.
Exactly. Well, true. But also the precedence that you start with is very important as well. So if you're very clear on, so people just know that if you plan to owe this person, just don't go to this person, go to another person.
Yeah.
And you also need to get comfortable with losing jobs from unserious people. Like if you're going to pay me 1 million and the 1 million I'm going to have to sweat for 6 months before I can get the 1 million. The value of 1 million as at the time you were paying me versus the value of 1 million in 6 months are not the same thing.
True, sure.
Don't have my tries, people just need to be very clear. You to put, like, maybe if you start off saying, oh, this is my contract, sign it. That already makes everybody settle down. Nobody wants to break contract or that kind of thing.
And okay, so how do you deal emotionally with, like, losing money or being swindled doing a job? I don't, if it has happened to you or so, like, what, because there are people who go through this.
It happened to me. It's happened to me. So, but like again,
me, I don't have energy. That's why I say I cannot do it.
I let a couple go. A couple of times. There are times that not a couple of times, but there were times where I had to return money because I was just dumb. There were times where the person didn't pay, and like what I've learned is with every bad experience I have, I create a new structure to ensure that bad experience never repeats itself again.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I do. Like after I've been sad and I've been angry and everything, I now ask myself, what can I now do to ensure like this never
doesn't happen
happens
again?
So that's my way of coping. And later in life, these people come back and there's this man. In fact, this one is a story of my primary hustle. This man just didn't pay me because I said I was quitting. Like I gave my notice, ample, not like I didn't give 1 week notice. I gave 3 months notice, right? And this man stopped paying me from the time I dropped my letter.
Okay.
So me now wrote a new email to say, okay, like following the recent development, I'll be ending at month 2. And the man just like was airing me, like wasn't really answering me. Then I was so upset. The money wasn't plenty, but I was very upset. Like Now looking back,
Yeah.
it wasn't plenty, but then it was plenty. Because I was so upset. I was going to tear shirts and break ceilings and whatever.
I've
right?
actually had to do I've done like a bunch of jobs where people would probably pay me maybe a percentage, right? And then when you pay me, my balance is now an issue. And I don't know, is this a bad habit? For me, it gets to a point that, for example, if let's say something like 20K is, let's say, was the balance, let's just say, and I don't want to come and be shouting at you that give me my money, give me my money, give me my money. And then I get to a point where I've done it a lot of times that if it's money I can overlook. I'll let it go.
Well,
It's
yeah,
painful,
at
but
times
then-
there's nothing else you can do, right? So
Yeah.
if, for example, that money was 10 million naira, right? You won't let it
Yeah, I'm not
go.
gonna let that one go.
But if it's like 10K that you feel like I can survive without this money,
Yeah.
yes, you may let it go, but you also have to take a lesson out of it.
Yeah.
So, like me now, that guy's story that I was telling you, many years down the line, he saw me on the road. He greeted me something, ma. And I'm like,
Nigga, you're still
you owe me money. Do you get what? I'm like, it's fine that you owe me. Like, me now, because of the lessons that I took from you, I cannot pay you the money. Say, well,
Did you guys hear that? Did you
Leave my
hear
life alone. Just leave me, yeah. So yeah, there are times like that. There are other times where you could be stern and just really make sure that maybe you blacklist the person,
Yeah.
or you just, if you have strength to be dragging on the internet. Me, I don't. I don't really think I've ever dragged.
I think it's harder and more stressful doing the whole dragging thing.
But it depends
sometimes
again.
it
What
comes
if
in
20K is all I
handy.
need to do
It
my
actually
surgery on
comes
my
in
leg?
handy, like the whole calling people out, because
But also blacklist you.
Yeah.
Because
Also
everybody's now
blacklist
scared
you.
that, that's how we don't give her change. She will now come and
do you get? So how do you actually will you actually say it's wise to be blacklisting people or something?
Yeah.
Sorry,
blacklisted people. Sure.
or calling people out and all.
So it depends on your personality. It depends on your temperament. If you feel like you can handle it, there are people on this Twitter streets that their job
So
is like all you have to do is not give. It's not that they are toxic. It's just their temperament. It's like they can handle confrontation.
Yeah.
It's like bring it on. And so while people are picky because they're also excellent at their
And I think
jobs,
that's actually a skill to hold on and to be able
but
to
not
have
everybody
confrontation.
needs to. Not everybody needs to. But just be able to have difficult conversations, right?
Yeah.
So and then set structures. So if you had structures to say, you know what, pay me my 100% before I start, that filters off unserious people. Or pay me my 60%, but my 40% cannot come late. If it does, 10% every month for when it's late. That filters off people as well. Like it would just everybody knows your stand. If you are lucky enough to be rich enough to have a lawyer friend, that you can partner with, who will handle your contracts? Whenever you do all these things, your lawyer friend will now be the one to contact them. Hello, I'm XYZ's manager, I'm XYZ's lawyer, and this is the contract. They will take it seriously. They won't try it.
I also think that's actually you knowing your worth, and not making people look at it that especially all those family jobs that she's my daughter's friend, that be something you can just do. Like you saying, oh, pay me this at this particular time does not make you proud.
Exactly.
It's a business, right? Whether it's a freelance job or something, it's a business. It's your business, right? Everybody's making money. So you saying setting those structures does not make you proud.
No, doesn't make you proud, doesn't make you arrogant, doesn't make you a devil. Except you're now being arrogant.
Except you're not being petty and all those things. Yeah. It's good to know your worth even as a business person.
I agree.
Yeah. So
go lucky.
so what do you what would you say as a side hustle? I think one thing is know if it is for you.
Number one.
Know if it is for you. Pick the one that you can actually do.
Get help when you need it.
Overdo. Be relaxed from I can do it all.
But as I can now do it all.
It's not everybody that can do it all. That's the thing. People should
How do you
take
know
the one you can do.
Wonder Woman? How do you know? How do you know I'm not Superwoman? How do you know I'm not Superman and Superwoman? How do you know?
How do I know?
How? Tell me.
Why?
This is not how I am. Only Buki brings out this part. I don't get it, but it happens. So yeah, like as you said, build structure, automate where you can. get help where you can. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Bite as much as you can chew. Also find ways to automate, how do I explain this now? To convert your side hustles into passive income. I think this is super important. It's like we get too caught up in the hustle that we don't realize that there are easier ways to make money.
Yes.
People are just lounging in their bed and dollars.
Easier ways to make money. Example, investing in other business or other people's businesses. Investing in other businesses as opposed to starting your own. Because really, not everybody needs to start a business.
Completely agree.
Not everybody. Like, you don't... I'm sorry, being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. Let's put it there. You can have a business. No, you can actually have a business dream because people, if not, it makes you stress on very unnecessary things.
I agree.
You can be a consultant.
I agree.
You can be somebody that you just your side also can just be giving people ideas to execute, and then you get a quota for it being like you get a percentage
in
for
a
it being
perfect
your
world.
idea. Well, okay, that's another thing. Talking about business in Nigeria. How do you deal with business in Nigeria? Then we can wrap up.
Just know your country. Just know how things are, how things work, and then be familiar with like what are the policies, so that nobody comes and bullies you out of. It's like last man telling you you're not wearing seatbelt. Like it's a crime to wear seatbelt.
Yeah.
It's like you know what's right. You know, so you don't have to fall for it.
Yeah.
So things like that, making friends with the right people. This doesn't mean that you have to make friends with Jagaban, but you can make friends with like other people who are relevant.
Yeah.
And so back to the automating your side hustle. If, for example, by the way, Buki is an amazing voiceover artist. You'll probably be able to hear that the difference in her voice in this podcast. She's trained. She knows all these things. But as you are now, you can't voice over for everybody in the world.
True.
So maybe you can now start setting a premium on your time to say, okay, well, yes, I'm a voiceover artist. If you want me to voice over in your that one is maybe 200K.
Okay.
But if you want to learn about voiceover, blah 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 blah, maybe you can do an online course where you teach all things you've learned over time.
Very
and you just be relaunching the online course and relaunching, and you make all your money back. Or you can write a book, or you can do a podcast and get people to come and sponsor, or you can just automate, find things that you don't have to write ebooks, there's so many things you can do really. You can sign long-term deals. You can
there's actually so
Sufferhead is different from side hustle. Side hustle does not mean Sufferhead.
What?
Take it out of here.
Blessing Abeng 2021.
2021, quote me,
Yeah, Sufferhead is not what? Side hustle. Yeah, and please, also 9 to 5 is not a course. 9 to 5 is not a bad thing.
At all.
You can have a 9 to 5 and enjoy it. And having a side also is also good. And if it's in your interest, in your passion, gain skills, learn and everything, right?
Yeah. I also sorry to interrupt you. I just think it's very important to add this, that you can have a side hustle within your 9 to 5.
Very true.
So if, for example, you were, give me an idea. Let's say you are working in advertising, which you are. You're working in advertising, right? Yeah. And you can, obviously your business needs clients.
True that.
You can walk up to your Oga, CEO, or whoever is like a decision maker and say, I recognize that because of COVID, blah, 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 we're having like a downtime, but I have a couple of connections who might be interested in becoming like our clients.
Yeah.
Right? If I can facilitate and close that deal or bring that deal to an almost close,
I get.
Can I get 10%? Can I get 20%? It's called intra.
This is why I roll with her.
Yeah,
she's smart.
See, me, I make money on everything. Like when we're doing a book, I'm going to run me my coins. You
can always find ways to actually make money. Find something to do. Side also is not. You can even make it fun. You can make it. It doesn't have to stress you out.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. But if there's anything you actually live with, is not everybody that can be an entrepreneur. You can actually support a business and make money from it.
Exactly.
Thanks and God bless.
My dear, one asked Tim Cook. Do you know how much his salary is?
I don't know.
Let's not discuss. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're done, guys. The episode is over.
Thank you, bless you. This was so much fun. Thank you, guys. Please leave a comment, a review, a feedback. Tell us your side hustle struggles, how you've struggled with clients, struggled with people who are owing you, and what you've done. And Blessing just told us about Wave Apps, so you can use it towards
Pepper them.
pester your clients that are owing you. It's important to get that money this year.
Yes, so
And also what is most important is keep your mental health intact and in check. If a job is stressing you and you can't do it anymore, it's okay
goodbye.
To send it away. Thank you so much. My name is Buki, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Trust Me, I've Tried. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow us on our IG page at Trust Me, I've Tried Pod. See you next time.
Trust me, I've tried. Trust me, I've tried. Trust me,